Hi, honeys. It's Michelle Escalin. I'm here today to interview my husband. I'm going to ask him a bunch of questions about what men really think about our bodies. Right?
That's what. That's not what you told me.
What did I tell you?
You're gonna surprise me with my new shoes.
That's true too. Brad's getting shoes today as a thank you, right, for
I don't know. I
doing
just
the
need.
video.
I just need them to work out.
All right, so Brad has, before he met me, obviously, um, he's dated quite a few women. We're both divorced before we were both divorced before we met, so we had both been down some roads before. But he had dated women of different shapes and sizes and body types. So because he has not only been with plus size women or he doesn't have some kind of fat girl fetish or anything, I thought that he might be a really good person to ask these questions to. So, do you care about plus size? I mean, I before you answer that, I don't think that you do. And the reason I'm going to just go out on a limb and say this is if he's dated thin women before, but he married this plus size woman, it must not bother him, right? So does it bother you?
Not at all.
Not at all.
No, not at all. It's. I mean, obviously, I didn't want extremes. Body shape doesn't hold too much sway with mature men, and I don't mean mature as in old, just as mentally mature. We appreciate women for their actions, not necessarily their body types. Now, you might have the gym rat who wants a fit female. That's probably more of a lifestyle compatibility choice than anything else. But otherwise, outside of teenage boys or 20 somethings who identify their value by the woman on their arm, men typically don't care about body size or type.
What makes a woman attractive?
The first thing I notice with women is their hygiene and their posture. If they are confident, I am more likely to, at least have a conversation with them and then see if there's any compatibility there. Uh, Same thing with self confidence. Nobody wants to be around a Debbie Downer, somebody who's always beating themselves up or looking at the world from a really pessimistic perspective.
Okay. So you just answered my next question. What do you find unattractive? There it is.
The first thing that turns me off would be hygiene. Poor hygiene is definitely a deal breaker. I don't even think I'd want to try to be somebody's friend, male or female, if they didn't have the gumption to take care of themselves with a shower, uh, a toothbrush. So that not only applies romantically but also applies socially. Another thing along those lines would be, yeah, are you taking care of your nails? Yeah, if you have nail polishes, it all chipped and nasty.
Do you prefer fake boobs or real?
I personally don't care for fake breasts. Most men don't care. Most men don't care, but um, me, it's me. I just prefer the real thing. I prefer the natural movement, natural look, and I don't care for nipples that point in different directions.
um, do you care if now obviously we're talking about when you were single, but do you care if somebody's breasts are like one's bigger than the other or if they're a little bit saggy?
No, about the only limitation I had on that was I didn't care for pancake titties, which are where they pretty much have no tissue and they're just kind of flopping on the belly. But besides that, no. And I can't think of many men who really care about the shape or size at the end of the day. I mean, some guys have a huge boob fetish, but that's a significant minority, and that's more of a freak show type of thing than reality.
So all breasts are beautiful?
Oh, definitely.
I think so too. I think we're like kind of made that way to think all breasts are beautiful or something.
Yeah, we're hardwired like that, hence the breastfeeding. It's a mammalian thing.
Right. All naked women are beautiful. Okay. Do you care about, what women perceive as flaws? Do you care about cellulite or stretch marks or anything like that?
No, no, I typically didn't care. Um, and at the end of the day, most men really don't care either, unless they're in the public eye, which the vast majority of men aren't. They're Most men are just looking for somebody they are physically compatible with, and it doesn't necessarily include having a 20-year-old model taut body.
Yeah, I mean, guys are probably just as worried about you noticing their flaws
Certainly.
as you are about them noticing yours. And I'll never forget my brother told me one time that he doesn't ever notice a woman's flaws with her body until she mentions them. And then when he mentions them, or when they mention them, he can't stop looking at those flaws and thinking
Same.
about those flaws. So if you're worried about it at all, just don't mention it. Just keep it to yourself. Because he's a lot less likely to notice even if you don't point it out.
And you don't have to hide it either. People are people. People are going to have their scars and their um, stretch marks or whatnot. So it is what it is. And if somebody's shallow enough to reject you because of stretch marks because you had a baby, then maybe you don't want to be with that person because they are obviously not emotionally mature enough to appreciate a person for who they are.
If a guy does care about your body that much or the flaws that you have that much, like you just said, why would you want to be with him anyway? It sounds like a real jerk. I mean, if he doesn't see you for you, and sometimes too, I know I probably I have a few flaws that Brad thinks are cute.
She likes to burp a lot.
Right. A lot. Really loud, manly burps, and he loves it. Do you care about push up bras and sexy panties?
I appreciate them, but they are certainly not a necessity.
Okay.
And yeah, especially like at a formal event where you're trying to put a confident foot forward, they are definitely recommended. But as far as everyday wear, no reasonable person can expect that.
It probably makes it a little more special too if it's not every day that somebody's
Certainly,
wearing something sexy. Just,
certainly,
yeah. And then when a woman does do sexy things for you, you know that she's doing it
because she wants
for
to.
you and for confidence purposes and not just because she's trying to be whatever all the time. But what makes a woman good in bed? Be
Interaction,
careful how you answer this. No, I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding.
interaction, and confidence. And the confidence doesn't have to necessarily mean you're got a stripper pole installed in your bedroom and you're sliding down it when it's time for adult time. It's just the avoiding the shy girl thing of I have to have the lights out. I don't want you to see me naked, or simply just not lying there and staring at the ceiling, counting the cracks. Uh, Now, for a 20-year-old guy who's just trying to get his rocks off, that might be fine. But as far as keeping the man in a relationship happy, it's going to require more than just being a mannequin.
Okay. So that's just lying around is what makes a woman bad in bed then?
Typically,
Or if just lack of chemistry or something?
could also be a lack of bedroom chemistry. It happens. There's, you know, one partner likes to do certain things and the other doesn't, and that's just life. It doesn't mean something's wrong with you or something's wrong with the other person. It just means that You need to find somebody with your bedroom habits, or that are in line with your bedroom habits.
Should women be insecure about jiggling or bouncing, whether it be their stomach, their butt, their breasts, their fat, their cellulite?
I mean, personally, I enjoy it, and I don't believe most guys care either way.
That was just the greatest answer ever, wasn't it, though? Yeah, a lot of women are insecure about, especially on being on top or, having different sexual positions because they worry that their fat is jiggling and, or that, you can really see their flaws from certain angles. And it's funny because I think, yeah, most guys are so wrapped up in the moment, they're really not noticing that stuff.
If you're worried about your boobs jiggling too much when on top, lean forward and smother them. A lot of guys like that.
Okay. There's always all these fads, for a while there, it was the fake boobs. Right now, it seems to be these big fake round butts. Do you really don't care about like what makes a woman's body sexy? It's not like a certain um women don't have to have the body that's currently in to be sexy.
No, I mean, for me, it's just, proportion. Like Kim Kardashian is not physically attractive to me because her ass is way out of proportion with the rest of her body. um, I personally proportion. I don't. It doesn't matter if it's a size 20 or a size 5. It just needs to have a normal human look. Kim Kardashian looks almost alien to me. From the back.
Do you do you think most men, not just you, but just most men, because we know you don't mind you married a big girl, but do you think that most men care if a woman is, like, do you think most men find a plus size body attractive?
Yes, of course.
Of course. But now, where's the of course come from? Because we're all told that you've got to be really skinny.
Those are modeling standards. Cindy Crawford is famous for saying she wishes she could be Cindy Crawford. What you see on magazines is airbrushing and Photoshop. That's not even the person's real body. There's all sorts of tutorials on how, a 4 or a 5 on a scale of 10 gets dolled up to look like a 9 or a 10 for a porn shoot. You see a lot of actresses outside of their Hollywood circles, you almost don't recognize them from the screen. Now, in the movies, they have professional stylists. They have personal trainers that they work with for weeks or months just to get the hair, the body, everything just right for the role they're playing. But at the end of the day, it's still not them.
Yeah, and lighting. Holy crap, lighting goes a long way. And they have somebody to make the angles just right too, to where everything looks perfect.
They might wear a girdle under their outfit during the screenshots. They might have different pans and zooms and angles and lighting to alter the appearance. The human eye is relatively easy to trick.
Yeah. Oh, and one other thing I wanted to address. You and I have talked about this recently too. If a guy is going to sleep with a woman, or he's going to date her, whatever, both, you usually have a pretty good idea by the time you get in the bedroom of what they're going to look like naked anyway, don't you?
Yeah, unless you're wearing significantly baggy clothing to hide your body style. But if you go out to dinner, and it's just instinctual, guys are already have an idea of what you're going to look like, when you first meet. So there's really nothing to hide if they're not interested in anything beyond the social interaction of dinner or drinks. Then doesn't necessarily mean that there's something wrong with you. It's just their projection of what you would look like isn't their cup of tea. And that isn't a you suck type of thing. It's just personal preferences.
Sorry, our cat's playing in the blinds. Yeah, I think everybody has their own preferences and things that turn them on, and it is what it is. I mean, I can't really control that stuff, I don't think. But
Yeah, don't ever feel bad about being rejected because you don't want to force the issue anyway, because the person will eventually move on anyway. So you're just actually saving time by getting rejected.
yeah, that's true. What do you want? Somebody to be with you out of pity? No. You want somebody to want to be with you.
Certainly.
Relationship will be a lot more fulfilling and it'll last a lot longer that way. But yeah, I mean, I guess that's one thing that's kind of, I mean, so basically when you do finally show someone your naked body, by that time, it's pretty unlikely that the guy's going to go, she's fat? I had no idea she was fat. What am I doing here? Unless it's like you met in a bar and you're both drunk and you get back to a hotel room or something. He's probably already knows. Has a good idea.
Already knows at that point now.
Probably already knows at that point. Right. But yeah, I know you had a pretty good idea of what I looked like the first time we hooked up. But we have been dating for a while. Poor Brad had to really put his imagination to work for a while. But that helped though, because I knew that he must really be attracted to me if he's still around.
Mm-hmm.
Does it matter if how quickly or slowly somebody has sex with a guy? Like, if a woman has sex with a guy the night they meet, is that a bad thing or a deal breaker? Do they lose respect for them? Also, though, is there such thing as waiting too long?
If it's just a hookup, get your rocks off thing, then there's nothing wrong with that. If you're looking for a relationship, there's a little window there that's just right. If you go to bed with somebody on the first date that you might want a long-term relationship with, it'll be difficult for the guy anyway, to appreciate and respect you. And they might just write you off as easy without even ever getting to know you. So there's that. And on the flip side, holding out for months is ridiculous. Now, there'll be a time when it just seems just right as far as a long-term relationship goes, and that's when you should start thinking about pulling the trigger. And if you're the female in a relationship, then you have control over when that happens. So, it's a judgment call, but it should feel right at some point that, okay, I want to become more intimate with this person, and you should act on it. That's funny.
I don't know, you just cracked me up. All right. Okay, well, I think that about wraps up the what does he really think of your body discussion. If you have any other questions, let me know. I guess we could always do a part 2, but thank you so much for watching. Please give us a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content of this video. All right, you take your sexy self and you have a great rest of your day. Bye.